Do you know how many people make a decision to do stuff? You know how many people make a decision every day to do this and change that, and I'm never going back to that, and I'll never put myself in that situation again, and God willing, I almost died, but you know what? Man, I'm never going to have a can of Coke in my hand again. And then 2, 3, 4 weeks later, like not even. We forget all about that.
Taking 100% responsibility for everything that happens to you in your life.
5 keys to making a decision for you to go all in your life. Not comparing yourself to Guy, not comparing yourself to Tash, not comparing yourself to Natalie. Comparing yourself to you, your best version of you. So there's 7 things that I want to go through. Hopefully we have enough time for all 7. They're all important. Some of these things you've heard before. That's okay. I want you to hear it again for the 100th time. Because learning is about repetition. And you got to hear the same thing from different people at different times. And there's been times I've heard something differently a week after I heard it originally, but it was somebody different. I was in a different mood, and bam, it got me, it hit me right in the soul. Number 1, okay? Number 1. So these are 5 keys to making a decision to go all in. Number 1, you're going to need to know why. You're going to need to know why you're going to make that decision. You can't even come to terms with the fact that you need to make a decision until you decide why you want to do it. You got to know why you're going to make this decision. Like, what is it about this decision? Why this time is it important? Let's just call it what it is. Most of us, including myself, at times in our life, we're really good at starting things. Right? We like to pick up projects. We like to pick up ideas. Everybody loves the idea of starting a business. Oh, Mom, Dad, I started a business. We love to start things. We're fired up. We're excited. Like to start relationships. But in particular, we like to start, things like this business. But guess what? We've made decisions before, haven't we? And there's a lot of times where we didn't follow through with those decisions. So if you have a pattern, like we all do because we're humans, of not following through with decisions, whether it's with your health, maybe you've been talking about losing 50 pounds for 5 years now. Maybe you lost the weight and you regained it. So now if we're going to go make a decision, we have to be able to trust ourselves with that decision. Isn't that true? Yes or yes? So here's the only way you're going to trust yourself with that decision. This is the only way that you're going to be able to tell your mind, and then your mind or tell your body that this time is different. And here it is. You need to be attached to why you're going to do it. Like, what are the possibilities? And you got to get deep on that reason. I don't care that you've made 20 goals before, you didn't stick to any. You're focusing on the past. I'm focusing on the future. I'm going to challenge you with the idea that maybe you probably weren't as connected as you needed to be with the reason that you need this. Look, here's the truth. Most people want to be successful. They want to be successful. They want the life. They want the wife. They want the spouse. They want the money. They want the debt free. They want the freedom. But the champions, they take that from a want to a need. Winners need things to happen. And the only way you're going to get from a want to a need is if you get super clear on why you need to make a decision. See, here's the reality. You got to figure out why you need to make a decision before you even make the decision. How many times have I heard, man, I made a decision. They haven't even figured out why. They just felt like it was the right thing to do. Man, that was a recipe for failure. The second thing I want you to write down is you need to anticipate the challenges. Because as soon as you make a decision, the universe has this weird way of throwing obstacles in your way bigger than you've ever seen before. It's like every time I make a big decision, I get a bunch of momentum, and it's like, it's almost as fast as I came out of the gates, obstacle hits me, 1,000-pound anvil drops right on my head, and I'm going, the old Steve was like, what the hell is going on? Like I was excited, and I was showing up early, and I was doing all the things I needed to do, but I was missing this key ingredient. I wasn't anticipating the challenges. So here's what I do. When I'm about to make a big decision, I write an entire page of all the challenges that I could face, all the things that could throw me off. All of them. My best guy quitting. My best guy quitting, my biggest client canceling their policy. Major family trauma. Somebody in my top 5 list passes away. My child ends up in the hospital. Like I write all the things that could potentially throw me off. And then guess what I do? I work through them one by one in my mind on how I'm going to overcome them. It's like Tom Brady seeing the play before he gets on the field, so that when it's the game-winning drive, and a linebacker comes from the blind side, he goes, I've seen this before. I can hear him, I can feel him, and he throws a 30-yard pass for a touchdown and win his 6th ring. That's what anticipating the challenges looks like. Number 3, third thing I want you to write down is, who am I accountable to? Who am I accountable to? Oh, but Steve, I'm the kind of girl that just likes to be accountable to herself. You know, like, go girl. And I'm thinking, man, how's that been working for you? Girl or guy? How's that working for you? How's being accountable to yourself going? Ready? I'm ready. I want you to tell me. Dear diary, being accountable to myself has been harder than I thought. I let myself down more times than I anticipated. No shit. You mean you're a human being? Great. I'm on the right call. Thought I was at the zoo for a minute, right? No, you guys are humans. Here's what happens. You can't just be accountable to yourself. You need to be accountable to somebody else. So you need an accountability buddy, right? First, you need to communicate your decision that you're making. You need to communicate it. You can't be the type that's like, I just keep my decision on the inside. I'm just going to do it on the inside. I'm not going to talk about it. You're not going to do it. You need to communicate it. You need to tell somebody about it. You need to be talking about it in front of your team. And then accountability is the glue. Accountability is the glue. If you don't have accountability, you don't have the glue. You might have everything else, but you're missing the glue. And you know what happens when you don't have glue? I made a lot of science projects in grade 2 and 3 where I didn't have enough glue. There was a lot where I was eating glue. And there was a lot where I had too much glue. What happens if you don't have glue? I'm just kidding about eating glue. Guy, that was a joke. You can laugh. Thank you. You don't have to be so serious. Guy was a joke. Just kidding. But guess what happens? You don't have glue. Everything falls apart. So accountability is going to be the glue. And I mentioned it before, but you can't just be accountable to yourself. Here's something fun I did for a 2-year period. I cut out pictures of all the people that I care about the most. Made like a 1-page vision board of the people I cared about, and I put it on my mirror. And then I drew a high five. I drew my hand on the mirror, and every morning I'd stare my family in the eyes and I would high five. That was like the last thing I'd do. And then what I did, you asked my wife, I drew another hand. I don't know why I was drawing my hand. And I put it on the back door. So I would high five myself in the mirror, and then on the way out the back door, I did that all the way till CEO, till it hit CEO. I don't know if it was a trigger or what it was, but so imagine this. I'm accountable to the faces that I care about. I'm anchoring it with a high five on the mirror. I high five the door on the way out, and then what do you think happens to my brain every time I high five someone at the office? What do you think happened? Flash. Picture, flash, family, picture, flash. That's being accountable to your family. That's how I was accountable. That's one way of being accountable, maybe in a way you hadn't thought about yet. The other obvious one is you should have an accountability buddy. You should have accountability buddies, somebody that's further down the path than you, not somebody that's going to coddle you. Your accountability partner should not be really good at bottle feeding. Okay, if they're a really good bottle feeder, then you don't need an accountability partner that's going to bottle feed you and put a warm blanket on you and tuck you in with a hot water bottle and a little bubble bath, a little Epsom salt, not too much though, just a little bit. If that's your accountability partner and every night you just basically have a warm bath on the phone for 5 minutes, doesn't sound like it's really gonna move the needle. You need somebody that can call you out when need be, but also be there to hear you out. So who's your accountability buddy? Who's your do or die? Because if you're not getting the results you want, your accountability partner needs to change. Okay. Man, fired up. Number 4. Write this down. If I don't follow through, what will I be giving up on? If I don't follow through, what will I be giving up on? It's super important to know along the way, right? So let me walk you through this. You've made it, you've figured out why you're going to make this decision. And then you make it. Then you anticipate all the challenges that are going to come. Okay, and then you got your accountability set up. It's rock solid. You use some vision tactics. You got a one-on-one accountability buddy. But now you write an entire list of all the things that you're going to be giving up on if you break this decision. And you got that sucker out right in front of you. I'm not the kind of person that just puts out positive goals all the time. All that positive like rah stuff, to be honest with you, yeah, I got some of it, but most of my goals are what I won't achieve if I don't get my shit together. To be straight up. All the things that I'm gonna have to say no to. I got a whole list of those. Everyone's like, I want a Ferrari, I want a $20,000 house, I wanna, homeschool my kids, I wanna travel the world. Okay, well, how are those goals been working for you? Here's my goals. I'll have to say no to my kids on trips. I'll have to stay off campus at Disneyland instead of on campus. Probably a $25,000 difference. We'll only be able to go to Africa for 3 weeks instead of 6 months. We won't be able to rent that yacht that I want when my youngest is 12 and sail the Mediterranean for 12 months and homeschool from the Mediterranean on that yacht if I don't get this thing going. That's been my number one goal since I got started in WFG. I'm not going to be able to take my dad back to the Masters before his time is up. That's a $20,000 trip. So I got a list of all the things that won't happen if I can't get this thing going. Number 5, I want you to be brutally honest with yourself. You can't make a decision and not be brutally honest with yourself. You have to toughen up. If you can't be real with yourself, who can be? Yeah, and don't beat yourself up, but be brutally honest. There's a difference. Here's being brutally honest. Man, Holbrook, you're not doing what you need to do. You got to step up your game. To be honest, you're being a bit of a mental pansy. Here we go. It's November 5th. Where are we at? Same pattern as last month, dude. First 5 days. Let's go. I'm going to get back on the horse. I'm going to book a phone zone. I'm going to get some calls going, and I'm back in the game. You have to be self-aware enough to know that if you need to course correct, we're 5 days in. If you're not where you need to be already, you got to make some changes. You got to gear up. You got to get into the next gear, and you need to speed up for takeoff. Because if you're 5 days in and you do not have the momentum that you need to carry you through the month, it's decision time right now. In my books, I'll be honest, November's almost over. The way I run my business, the way my mindset works is this month is almost over. But Steve, there's 25 days left. The next 25 days is you cleaning up the mess that you created the first 5. You can't be winding up the month halfway through the month. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Okay, you got to get on the month. Hey, Evan, is this too intense for you? You good? All right. Guy, am I going too hard on them? All right. It's a leadership call, right? Leadership call. We want to have a leader shift on the leadership call. Number 6, there's only 2 left. Number 6, you got to take action. You have to take action. Man, I heard this little saying when I first started WFG. It's my favorite expression that I've heard in this business. There's 3 frogs sitting on a lily pad. Okay? 3 little frogs. They're really cute. They're all sitting on a lily pad having a conversation. And one of the 3 frogs makes a decision. Makes a decision that it's going to jump. Just one of them. How many frogs are left on the lily pad? The answer is 3 frogs, because the one just made a decision. It actually didn't take action. Do you know how many people make a decision to do stuff? You know how many people make a decision every day to do this and change that, and I'm never going back to that, and I'll never put myself in that situation again, and man, God willing, I almost died, but you know what? Man, I'm never going to have a can of Coke in my hand again. And then 2, 3, 4 weeks later, like not even. We forget all about that. So it's not enough just to make a decision. You have to take action. Making a decision is the easy part. That part is, that's the joke. Everybody can do it. Making a decision is easy to do. Make a decision to get married. That's the easy part. The tough part is following through on my marriage. That's the hard part. It's when the work starts. So if you're going to make a decision, man, make a decision. And my 7th point is this. Sell yourself the dream every day on how great it's going to be. Sell yourself the dream every day on how great it's going to be. You need everyday reinforcement on how great it's going to be. It's going to be so great when. So you got your list of things that aren't going to happen if you don't get this thing going. You got your accountability high five. But then at the very end of it, it's your responsibility to sell yourself the dream every single day. Because I'll be straight with you. If you follow these things, it is going to happen. It is just a matter of time. You are going to win big. How big? That depends on you. You will prevail. You will prevail. But it's your responsibility to get up every morning, put your work boots on, pack a lunch, and go to the mental gym and sell yourself the dream on what it's going to be like a year, 2, 5 from now. Because if you're not doing that for yourself, who's doing it? If you're not creating that vision for your family, if you're not getting up every morning thinking about how great it's going to be, then who's doing it? You're the visionary for your family. You're the lid for your kids. You're as far as your family can see. You, me. And if every day you're not stretching that muscle, stretching it, working it out, then it's going to atrophy. It's going to wither away. And next thing you know, your vision is going to be like looking through a straw. You have no confidence. You'll have no belief, no momentum. You wonder what the hell happened. You made a decision. It's not about that. It's about all the things I talked about.